I came here twice and won it once. I won the pressing champion award in 1992. So yeah, I'm showing my age.
Oh,
bloody ages ago. Yeah.
No. Look, everyone's looking pretty good around here. Yeah. So Glenn, what have you gone on to do now? Where are you?
Well, it's a little bit of a funny transition for me because I was a rural kid, but I was making a transition into study and I was becoming an engineer.
Yeah.
And so I was filling my seasonal breaks as studying my diploma in civil engineering with what I know well, born and bred rural kid, growing up on the farm. So it was logical for me to try and fill the holidays with getting back into the sheds. And a chap called Steve Cochran gave me a chance to work for him. And I didn't know it, but he entered me into the shares into here at Masterton. And I must have been reasonably good at it, and he saw a chance and put me in it, and I ended up bloody winning it. So,
fantastic! So you're an engineer now, based in.
Now I'm an engineer, and I've carried on and done a degree and worked in Wellington, and then went over to Australia, and then finally now I'm 15 years. Unfortunately, I'm going to say it, in Auckland. I'm an Aucklander, but I'm a true blue King Country kid from Taumarunui, to be honest.
Oh, that's fantastic, Glenn. Yeah. Look, Glenn, Paul, thank you very much for that very short introduction to everybody. I see we've got the Trans-Tasman test introduction starting to happen. I think we should be there, but Glenn, as we discovered, I'm a very good friend with your sister Tracy Haupapa, who certainly is well renowned in Māori agribusiness.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for the acknowledgement.
Lovely to see you, Paul. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mavis. Thanks, Paul.
McIntyre, Nathan Meaney, Damien Boyle, and Max Flood. So we've got a representative from New South Wales, South Australia, Western Australia, and a judge from Tasmania, and I'm from Victoria, so we've got a reasonable spread. So without further ado, I'll hand over and wish the best team the best.
Just one more question. Can your team do it?
Yes.
Over to here. I'd like to introduce Dave Brooker, the manager of the New Zealand team. I'll hand the mic to you, Dave, to introduce our team.
Thank you once again. Just like to welcome Peter and his shearing team, the Golden Shears. I hope you enjoyed your time here as much as we enjoyed it in Dubbo back in November. Shearing team here is Troy Piper, Nathan Stratford, and your local man, Pairata Abraham. I'd just like to add that I managed these guys along with the Woolhandlers and the blade shearers to Dubbo back in November, and just like to say how much of a pleasure and an honour it was to lead these guys. They represent the country and New Zealand shearing sports with a lot of distinction and a lot of pride. So you can be very proud of them, and I'd just also like to acknowledge the help I got from my partner Joanne. Thank you very much.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, if you please be upstanding for the national anthems.
Australians, oh, let us rejoice, for we are young and free. We've golden soil and wealth fertile. Our home is God by sea. Our land abounds in nature's gifts of beauty, rich and rare. In history's page, let every stage advance Australia fair. In joyful strains, then let us sing, advance Australia.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we'll leave these guys to psych up, team talk, and then business. Back to you, Johnny.
Just one of those things, if you want to go outside through the main foyer, you will need to have your ticket scanned, otherwise you will not be getting back in. So just a word of warning to the patrons, if you want to go outside, you'll need to have your ticket scanned at the front door, or you will not be allowed back in. Wow, we've got an interesting little burn up here coming before us now. The Australian Shears, quite a lot of experience here with Daniel McIntyre on the front stand, got 22 years shearing career. He's been in the Australian team 8 times. Down on the third stand we had Nathan Meaney. Nathan's just had a short career at the stage, only 14 years. But his idea was if he could beat his mentor, Shannon Warness, the legendary man. So
we've just had the national anthems of the New Zealand and Australian teams for the Trans-Tasman Shearing Test, sponsored by Lister Shearing. And this is going to be an exciting one, Digger.
Oh, too right. Another one of the top events on Saturday night at Masterton, the Trans-Tasman. And quietly, I think New Zealand's got a really, really good chance in this tonight. We've got 3 shearers that are all really capable of shearing the Merino as well. Troy Piper, Nathan Stratford, and Wairarapa Abraham. So they were all just in the PGG earlier. So they've had a short break. Just gone out the back, they've changed their handpieces and combs and cutters, and ready to get back into it again. And the Australian team, slightly different looking team this year. No Shannon Warnest, no Jason Wingfield. So, a couple of new guys in there, and Nathan Meaney and Damien Boyle, or Damien, renowned for a Merino shearer from Western Australia. But maybe he might just struggle a little bit on the crossbreds. But, I think the anchor man will be Daniel McIntyre.
Yeah.
We saw Daniel, he made the top 30 last night in the Open. No mean feat getting into the top 30, and especially for an Australian to come over here on our crossbreds.
You were doing pretty good, Digger. You went from sitting on the fence to now putting it out there straight up. So I like that. Good on you.
Well, we've got to back the Kiwis, don't we? Eh?
But it is, we've struggled against the Australians for the last few years in the shearing Trans-Tasman. Their teams have been so strong, and as you said, no Shannon Warnest. It just kind of feels a bit weird. But Shannon, I'm pretty sure that you and your family will be plugged into the live streaming, and we miss you.
It was a bit like, I suppose, when David Fagan retired. No David Fagan in the New Zealand team, and well, what are we going to do? But we've managed to find a few guys that have stepped up and taken his place, and we've got a pretty good lineup tonight. That's
right. Daniel McIntyre, he is the anchor, but Damien Boyle, he just dominates in WA, doesn't he? He dominates.
Oh, and dominated for a long, long time. 24 years, I think he's won the Western Australian Open.
Yep, and as you've mentioned, we've seen our New Zealand team already in the PGG circuit final. So, yep, they're warmed up. They're getting ready to start very, very shortly.
Yeah, so we've got Daniel McIntyre from Australia on 1, Nathan Stratford on 2 from New Zealand, another Australian, Nathan Meaney, on 3, Troy Piper, the Kiwi, on 4, Damien Boyle, the Australian, on 5, and Wairarapa Abraham, a local boy, so he'll get a lot of hometown support tonight for New Zealand on stand 6. So what they've got is 8 Merinos and 8 second shear sheep to shear. So look for the Australians to try and establish a little bit of a lead on the Merinos.
It's actually 6 Merino, 3 long wool and 3 second shear.
Okay, 6.
Yeah.
6. So it's changed it a little bit. Back in my day, I think we had to shear 8, and we gave away a big time advantage to the Australians, and they took some pegging back. But so 6 Merinos. And we can see now just straight away that the Australian, Daniel McIntyre, is down into that long blow. Nathan Stratford's just going up the neck. Nathan Meany, a long blow time for him as well. So they are going out, and the Aussies will know that they've got to go out and try and get a lead on these Merinos and just try and hang on to it on the crossbreds, because the Kiwis, they are quicker on the crossbreds.
Yep, they sure are. So there's Daniel McIntyre, and if you've just joined us, the little dials along the bottom is just a little tool to help you to understand what might be going on. You can see the first one is the sheep numbers. So he's on sheep number 1. We all know that, it's green. The time, and this is the average of those on the board right now, this heat. So the average time there, and Daniel's sitting dead square in the middle of it. The other dial was around the board point. So this is when they provide a fault or create a fault by cutting the wool twice. Instead of having one lovely long staple of wool, for some reason they've lifted their handpiece and that's cut that fibre in two. So, we see here Nathan Stratford, he's in the green, that's good. His time's about right, and he's on sheep number 2. Nice little tool just to help. And of course you've seen Nathan shear already in the PGG final, and he will also be shearing in the Bailey's open shearing. So he's got a big night ahead of him. Big stints.
Too right, Mavis. That'll really be, really testing Nathan's fitness.
Yeah. And of course, that's how it works. But you see there with Daniel McIntyre and Nathan, they're both hammering it out right at the front there. There's not a lot in it. I've always felt that to shear the Merinos well, and listen to me, I'm no expert, obviously, but, it needs a bit of a calmer demure. You can't attack them like perhaps you do the crossbreds, but then, as Diggers pointed out, you look at these Australians and they're attacking them all right. They're just in there.
Yeah, I think you're right, Mavis. It comes back to the Kiwis are used to shearing the crossbreds, and when you hit the Merinos, you really try and drive it, chuck it in, and it, sometimes on a Merino, the faster you try and go, the slower you end up going. But just look at those Australians. They are really attacking those Merinos, and Daniel McIntyre on stand 1, he's going up around the horns on that his third one.
Yeah.
Nathan Stratford's, he's coming down the last side on a second Merino, so they're really opening up a good lead. And how it works is you're paired up alternative stands for each of the teams. So when you're up there, your job is to try and look after that guy in front of you. So Nathan will be watching Daniel, and he'll be thinking, I've got to stay close to him. He's the one that I've got to keep up with. Same with Troy, he'll be trying to cover Nathan. And Wairarapa will be trying to stick with Damien.
Okay, so it's almost like a full court press, eh?
Yep, too right. You cover your man, and
you cover your man.
You say to your teammate, you look after so-and-so and I'll look after this one, and if we can do that, we'll be right. But, Nathan Meany, don't know much about Nathan. And,
no, we haven't. I don't think we've. Well, and I'm probably going to be proved terribly wrong here, but I don't recall seeing too much of Nathan over here in New Zealand. But in the book, it says that he's certainly been a member of the Australian team in the New Zealand Worlds held in 2012, and that potentially, I think this reads 2015, that he's also been here, and of course now he's here in 2020.
Yeah, he's from South Australia, and good to have him over here. He's made a lovely job of that Merino, and he goes for his 4th Merino.
Yep, Merino number 4 out for all of them except Troy and Parata, just holding back a little bit, but Troy will get there. He's on his 3rd, coming down the last side.
So we've got two Australians have got number 4 Merino. 3 Australians have got, because Damien Boyle's just going in. So Wairarapa's got number 4 on, so we've got 3 Australians with number 4 and 1 Kiwi with number 4. So hopefully we don't let them get too far ahead.
But this is how it goes, isn't it? I mean, the Australians get ahead on the Merinos, and it's not until we get to the crossbreds that the Kiwis start to sort of pull them back a bit.
pull them back. Yep. Hopefully we can pull them back and do enough to get the win, but it's going to be tight.
Yeah, well, we had last night with the Woolhandling Trans-Tasman, and the New Zealanders won that in great fashion. That was a brilliant test as well. So, once these hefty Merinos get out of the way, and we see some probably shearing more as we're accustomed to, things might change a bit more.
Yeah, we're just looking at Troy on the screen there. He's got a good board, Troy Piper.
Yes, very good board.
Very good board. He's right up with the average time. So, he's going along pretty nicely. He'll be just thinking, a couple more Merinos and then we can hit those crossbreds and I'll pull these Aussie boys back in. Nathan Meaney, he bounces in for number 5. So they're making short work of it, these Australians.
Yep, they're not mucking around, and I keep going back to what you certainly said earlier on. They're not shy or they don't hold back.
No.
They're just in their boots and all.
They've come over here with a mission, and that's to take the Kiwis down, and they're giving it a good shot.
Yep. So there's Troy again. He's still got a good board, so he's maintaining his quality, isn't he?
Yep. He certainly is. Down, we're looking at Damien Boyle now. Damien, he's probably the cleanest Merino shearer in the world. Probably a little bit slower than some of the other boys, but he just does a fantastic job. And his quality is unbelievable on the Merinos. And they're not an easy sheep to shear. Wrinkles all over their skin, and big wrinkles up their neck. The wool's a lot finer.
So he's won Alex a number of times too, hasn't he?
He's won the Alexandra Show, New Zealand Fine Wool Champs, eight times.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
So that's beating us on our home ground, on our own turf.
Yeah, it's a bit like beating the All Blacks at Eden Park, I suppose. Doesn't happen very often, but this guy's done it a few times.
Yeah. I think he's almost a local down there.
I'll tell you what, there'd be a few contractors down there like Peter Lyons and co would love to have him working there for the prelam.
But see, his board, it's kind of just good average, isn't it, really, in comparison to the rest? There's somebody who's certainly got a stronger board.
Yeah, Damien Boyle's board's right up there. It's sort of, just average. I would have expected it to be a little bit lower. But, Troy Piper, he's having a good share with his quality inside at the moment.
Yeah, that little graphic there certainly gave an indication of where things are starting to go. Pairata Abraham. We haven't seen too much of Pairata through this time, but here he is on what sheep number? He's on number 6, so this is his 6th and final Merino. He'll be glad to get that going.
Pairata's board's just a little bit high. He probably hasn't shorn as many Merinos as some of the other boys, and maybe just giving away a few second cuts. But down on stand 1, we've got Daniel McIntyre. He's done a go in for his first crossbred sheep. Change of handpiece. There he is. Change of handpiece for Daniel McIntyre, and he's first to the 3 long wool and then 3 second shear.
Yeah, and he won't muck around with these either.
He's a good crossbred shearer.
Yes,
He'll get around them pretty good. So he's got, at the moment, he's got over half a sheep lead on Pairata. So probably by the time Pairata finishes Merino, Daniel will be 1 sheep in front. So Pairata's going to have to shear 6 second shear or crossbreds, rather. Well, Daniel only shears 5. So hopefully Pairata can pull him in.
Yeah. Well, look, Nathan's there as well. He's, Nathan's a quality man. He'll be keeping the job right, but there's Pairata.
Yeah, there goes Pairata. He's done a change of handpiece now. He's going to go in for his first long wool. So Daniel's not quite 1 in front. I reckon Pairata will pick him up.
Yeah,
Mavis.
I think he can pull him back. Everything's going to have to go right for him, but Daniel's not hanging around waiting for him. He's saying, "Oh, whatever, I'm on my way. I'm
Yeah.
on my way.
He's on his way, all right, and he'll be saying, "You won't catch me, Kiwi."
Yeah.
And Nathan Meaney there in the middle. He's nearly finished his. He's on a crossbred as well.
He is on a crossie.
Yep, he's in for his second crossbred.
These guys are doing all right.
Oh,
We're gonna have a few challenges.
Yep. Damien Boyle, he's just about to go in for his first crossbred. Troy Piper,
How's Troy going?
he's just about to finish his last Merino. Nathan Stratford's got a couple of blows to go. Troy's in for his first crossbred. So the Kiwi boys will start to open up their shoulders now and try and pick them up. And look at that. I'm pretty sure Pirata's making ground on Daniel McIntyre. Nathan Stratford, he's going in for his first crossbred. There's Pirata.
Yeah, well, Parata's got some work to do. He's got some work to do.
He's only probably picked up 2 or 3 blows on that first of his crossbreds. His board's just a little bit high. He is pulling it back a little bit now that he's hit the crossbreds. So he'll have to draw on all his hometown support.
Oh, there'll be plenty out there, don't worry. And he's a man on a mission. You know, he wants this as much as any. How proud it is to wear the silver fern.
Oh, too right. Nothing better to have a hometown boy shearing for New Zealand. Nathan Meaney, Nathan's board's pretty high. And probably stay high too, I think, just with the crossbreds. Probably won't be quite used to shearing these sheep. Not too many crossbreds over in South Australia. He looks like he's getting around them all right though.
Here comes Stratty.
Stratty goes in for his second crossbred sheep. And you were talking earlier in the day about the tape around there, around the shoulders. We're seeing some of these shearers wear, Mavis. Can you just enlighten us on what that's about?
Well, I was talking to Pagan, who also had the strapping, and it was more a preventative, you know, it's more rather than a rehabilitative practice. It was about helping blood flow, and you know, it's all the sports science stuff.
Yeah, so they're being proactive rather than reactive.
That's right. It's a preventative and an enhancement rather than.
I'll tell you what, here's a great shot on the wide screen. Look at Pirata. He's coming down there. He's just about finished sheep number 9.
Yep.
He is only half a sheep behind now. He's catching Daniel McIntyre. You wait till he hits the second shear, which he's on now. He'll go even quicker. So he's Pirata's picked up, just about picked up Nathan Meaney.
Yes.
Now he'll be setting his sights on Daniel McIntyre.
Not quite Meaney yet, but he's getting there.
The further it goes, that's Daniel McIntyre's only got 2 sheep left in his pen. He may hang on, do enough to take the time stakes.
Well, as I said, Australia's been really strong the last few years. They've been just an amazing team. So, you know, obviously they've been building the capability there with Nathan Meaney. As I said, we're very familiar with Damien and Daniel, but they've got the depth there by the looks of it, and that's an important thing.
And what's happening, Mavis, is a lot more of the Australian boys are coming over here for a couple of months' work during the main shear and getting the experience on the crossbreds. I know up around in the King Country we've had a couple of Australian boys working with us, and so they're getting the experience on the crossbreds, and also they getting more and more crossbreds to shear in Australia as well.
Yep, here's Pirata. He's picked up out now sheep number 11. Still half a sheep behind though, Digger. It's a big ask.
I don't think he's going to pick Daniel McIntyre up. No. Daniel's just too quick on these crossbreds.
I'll tell you what, he's not gonna wonder trying though.
No, he's giving it everything he's got. He's just not able to make up that ground. Daniel McIntyre, he's going in for his last one. Wairarapa Abraham down there. He's pulling his board back all the time on these crossbreds. So he's obviously trying to hold his quality together. He's saying, oh, well, I'll give you Aussies a time advantage. We'll try and pick you up on quality out the back.
Really interesting, the strategies that are employed here. Really interesting. If you get behind, then you know, oh, well, let's just keep the job right.
Yeah, sometimes if the lead's too big, you're better off just to try and stick with equality rather than go all out and try and pick up the time points.
Oh, Nathan Meaney, he's in for his last sheep. Come on, Pairata, you nearly got him.
Yeah, he's picked up Nathan. But just look at Daniel down there on stand number 1. He is just... he's still got that half a sheep lead.
What a fabulous shear from him. Come on, Pairata. You can hear the crowd out there just screaming for him.
So he's from... Daniel's from Glen Innes,
New South Wales.
So hopefully you're over... Got all your family and that are watching it over there in the pub somewhere. He's having a little bit of trouble there. There goes Daniel McIntyre. What a shear from him.
What a shear.
So Pairata, look, he's only the last side behind now. He's maybe he needed 2 more sheep in there to pick him up.
Oh, it's frantic now. Him and Nathan are really having a good go at it. Yes,
Yeah, there goes the
Pairata.
Kiwi. Kiwi on 6, hometown hero. So we've got Nathan Meaney. He's going to be next finished.
Yes.
There goes the Australians. So two Australians out, only 1 Kiwi. And, Nathan and Troy, half a sheep each left. And Damien Boyle, he's got 1 left in the pen. So, well, just looking at that, I think Kiwis might be just in front.
Just a tad without knowing what the outside is like. Their collective points, probably the averages are a bit better than the Aussies, but only just. Here's Troy coming in. Great roar from the crowd. And Stratty. Waiting now on Damien. He's got another sheep in there.
Yeah, not a quick shearer, but a very good quality shearer.
Yes.
Damien Boyle, and
especially on crossbreds, it's Merino is his thing.
yeah, he's a Merino specialist, and he would not shear very many crossbred sheep at all. So, and there you go. You can just see him sitting that sheep up a little bit higher than the Kiwis do on the crossbreds. Just punching into that back leg. Blows are a little bit shorter than the Kiwis.
Yeah.
He's been around a long time, Damien. It's great to have him over here and shearing against them.
Great sportsmanship that the teams all just hang around up there waiting for their mate.
Yep, all the other boys are finished. They're just standing on the board watching.
Yeah.
Even the Kiwi boys probably just encouraging him. So, come on, Damien. He's got about a quarter of the sheep left.
It's a big one. It's a big
comes.
test. It's a big test.
So hopefully the Kiwis have done enough. We can take the double. We managed to get a win in the Woolhandling last night in the Trans-Tasman. So hopefully we can have a clean up. Try and balance the ledger a little bit. There goes Damien.
Well done, Damien. Can be a bit lonely up there, I'd imagine, when you're on your own.
It is. Sometimes things don't go right and you're up there shearing 1 or 2 sheep by yourself, and it's not a nice place to be, but hey, at least you're up there and everyone else is watching.
That's right. Great test. Thank you very much for that, Digger. We'll have a break now while they set up for the open wool handling, and then we'll be back for the big one.
I just hope, Mavis, you're bringing in some expert wool handler to take my place while the wool handling's on. I might be a little bit out of my depth if I have to.
I thought you knew about everything, Digger.
Sometimes I think I do, but. I could make something up, I suppose.
I'm sure you could, and you'd do that well. But thank you very much. Let's go to the stadium, and we'll be back shortly.
It was Bob Chamberlain when the shears first started out, and he said the committee's going to have to raise, I think, £2,000 in order to run that competition. And that's what I understood they were requiring in those days. And that was a big sum of money back in 1960. But the team went out and got it in those days, which obviously Laurie was involved, Edwin O'Hara's father, Roy, amongst others. And once they raised that money, then they could start the competition. I think the other thing in those days too, which hasn't possibly been highlighted, but bringing the competition, which up until then there had been shearing competitions around the country, but they'd probably always been run in wool sheds. Now what this was bringing a shearing competition and building a specific board and putting it in a stadium in Masterton so that you could have 2,000 spectators. Now that was a new concept, to actually put shearing in a sports stadium. I was told later on that at one part of it in the latter 60s there was actually a move to make it more sports orientated and to capitalise on that sport aspect of the shearing, which as far as shearers are concerned is very much it. But from a farming point of view, it was something that was felt would actually glamorise shearing perhaps a little too much and take away from the actual basic fact that we need a sheep shorn cleanly and the wool to come off nicely without any animal health problems, which just capitalising as a sport might not have happened so well. Of recent time, I think it has been accepted as a sport in a minor way, and certainly we've had one or two celebrities now. The likes of David Fagan is probably the one that springs to mind for everybody, and he actually took it to a new level as far as sporting goes. That Young Farmers Committee actually had an awful lot to do with the shears moving on to another stage. They'd grown up helping at Golden Shears, and they moved on from that helping stage to actually take the senior executive positions in Golden Shears, and they brought new life into the shearing, into the competition. And the young farmers, as has been highlighted, you had an art competition, you had a make and model competition, you had a Miss Golden Shears competition, and it involved the townspeople probably